All right, so it's 17 minutes past 9 a.m. here in our studios, Udala Radio 104.7 FM, and we are saying welcome to today's edition of the Polity on the seriously authentic station from the commercial nerve center of Anambra State on Nature. My name is Franklin and Ebuka, and welcome to today's program. And this very morning, I woke up, having this funky thought about what is going to happen if you wake up in the one very morning and there is no news anywhere. And I was just wondering the kind of blackout it would be, the kind of feeling we are going to have. Just like imagine yourself going out one day without your handset, and sometimes you feel as if you are incomplete. So what would it be if we wake up one morning and there's no media outlet to put out the news stories out there? How are you going to feel? For me, it's going to be awkward, but for Chisom, I don't know whether it's going to be that same feeling or she will feel as if nothing happened. Good morning, Chisom.
Good morning, Franklin. How is Chisom going to feel, right? I think I am going to be a little indifferent. Yes, maybe a little indifferent because I might just want the break from, all of the, what do I call it now? Bad stories and all of that. But over time, I might not like it anyways, but I might be a little indifferent. I might be like, peace at last.
Do you like Instagram?
To be very honest, kinda.
Sorry, what about X?
I don't spend a lot of time on X.
TikTok?
Barely.
Facebook?
A lot.
Facebook?
I spend a lot of time there. I spend a lot of time sometimes on Instagram, news channels, and
So can I tell you something?
Maybe if there is no internet, it will give me more I would notice faster than noticing other things. Do you get it? Excuse me. If there is no internet, it's going to be easier for me to notice before I notice that, some things are actually missing. So, should I give you a verdict?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
You won't survive.
You are not going to survive. That's my verdict this very
I don't even want to think about it. I know it's going to be a difficult thing. Maybe that is going to be the rapture that has been so spoken about. But then sometimes I wonder, people live without all of these things. You
get it. All right, so Tony, good morning, Tony. We also have Dr. Olisa Mbeki here on the analysis desk. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Franklin. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, the Anambra, the Onitsha, and anyone and everyone listening to us, irrespective of their vicinity. And we must also appreciate our friends who join us from time to time, those in Italy, those in South Africa, those in the United States of America, and those even in Egypt, even in the war-torn Iran, Israel. We've got so many listeners, and most times they join the program. The repeat broadcast, I have been told, they usually join the repeat broadcast, the one being aired around 2 a.m. midnight. So they do join us. So we must appreciate them. I know they may not listen now, they may listen later, but we must appreciate them. It's always a pleasure. And then the question you ask is when there is no news, there will be a mix of uncertainty, restlessness, and I tell you, there will be cautious anticipation, more like a quiet before the storm. People will be anxious, suspicious, but nobody knows what's going to happen next. You don't know your left, you don't know your right, and when you live in anxiety, that's the worst state anybody can live in, and more like not surviving. And when internet is off, there were times we would live without internet. Yesterday, I connected to a classmate who is now based in Japan. I don't know how he got my number. Somebody gave him my number. He called me, and I was speaking with one Charles. I remember about 23 years ago in the university. So then there was no internet connectivity, and that was why many of us could not even connect. Most of our classmates, we don't have our numbers. We don't have our contacts because there was no internet. You can imagine such a world, but now there is, and these generation don't even know what God has done for them. During our own time, it was absolute darkness. We resorted to mainstream television and radio for information, for news. When September 11 attack happened in the United States of America, I was in a classroom and it happened. Our class dismissed abruptly. So it tells a lot. the world cannot survive it now. Let me be honest. The world cannot survive without internet and without news. So it's important I make such submission.
All right, so talking about darkness, and that took me to that thing that happened in the millennium. You know, that very rumor about 3 days darkness. People were buying candles. People were doing this and that. I don't know the one you did that time, whether you were also anticipating rapture to come that very moment. And then some radio stations were playing "See You when we get there," you know, thinking that it was going to happen. So for each of
when was the last eclipse?
That was around 1999. Many people had the rumor that in 2000 the world will end.
Exactly.
That was 1999. People had it that in 2000 the world will end, but I didn't buy into that anyway. And it was rife. In fact, there was a family that they were eating everything, hoping that they would die, so that
buy candles.
People were doing all manner of things. People resorted to prayers. People went to churches and believe that the best place to die will be in church. Hopefully they will from there go to heaven. So a lot of things happened. In fact, there was a great anxiety. There was this uneasiness. People were not calm. People were restless. Everybody was thinking what's going to be the next. The world would end. But I never bought into that. I had staunch belief because I'm a student of history. I had watched different millennia, how they transition. So I was wondering, ours cannot be different from others. So it was my thought. I was positive about it, and I don't believe in some of all these myths around, all these tantrum, all these jives. They will tell you this. They will if I go on to tell you this, they will tell you a dead man will stand up, and there was a time you saw a dead man hovering somewhere. These things are myths. They do not exist.
We have actually encountered lots of rumors that scared people. People were, people became nervous.
Is it the eclipse?
Even the time, no. Let's even move on to what happened before that millennium. To talk about the recent one, the Ebola, where people were told that they had to, bath with salt water, so that they will not be infected. I don't know whether you fell victim to that, Chisom.
Frankly, because I was in my school hostel that beautiful morning.
Confess your sin.
And everybody was running helter-skelter. Mamas were calling their children. Have you woken up to have a salt bath? Have you woken up to have a salt bath? This one, that one. And, I'm not even going to lie. Literally everyone in my hostel did that.
So you were included?
Before.
Okay.
You won't die. I don't want to die. I was told that if I had my bath with salt before the sun comes up, I wouldn't contract Ebola. But the big question is the people who spread these myths and the people who buy them. Sometimes I wonder why we don't think beyond these. I don't know what to call it. You see, another set of people that I kind of wonder how they think are the people who now post those, if you don't pass this on, you will die in 7 days. You will not succeed if you don't pass this on. For a breakthrough of 7 days and 7 minutes, pass, God, I beg now. I mean, I don't know when our people are going to just snap out of these, I don't know what to call them again. The ones who will now preach miraculous credit alert. Franklin, get what you will never see. When you were talking about the fear of the world ending, when I experienced the first eclipse, I think I was barely in primary 4, and it was an eclipse. We were taught in school. As a matter of fact, we were prepared in my school to come out and see how it happens, and we were all getting ready, But some people were already preaching that this thing that is being spoken about is the rapture. That people are going to be leaving that day. They're going to be flying all up in the sky, going to Sky Daddy and all of that. And also, do you remember when they said if you collect so and so day early morning rain, that you have to collect the rain directly from the sky, not from any rooftop. Just bring out something. It's going to be a healing rain.
We keep demystifying some of these myths. Yes. Some people will tell you about Ogwego. There's nothing like Ogwego. That if you do this, then a tree will start pumping money or a dead body will start bringing money out. There's nothing like that. Who told you so? And definitely we have organ harvesting. Those who try to eat human being, the cannibals and other, we have those ones. But situation where you try to translate it to be that once you do some concussion or incantation or invocation, then there will be a dead man or a dead body or a corpse bringing money, or where a young lady is tied her hands behind, and she will start remitting money from her mouth. These things are myth. They do not exist. You have to wake up from most of these myths.
All right, so and that's why you have to emancipate yourself by looking for information so that you can cure ignorance and then be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. So on that very note, we are saying and welcome again to today's program, the Polity Tuesday edition. This because we're almost at the end of July, because today is 29th of July 2025. Just 2 days. Of course, we're going to say bye to July, and then you get into August. I'll begin to see different communities, going for their New Yam Festival. That will be, by the way. Go to our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM, and then join this very conversation. We have a live video on that very page. Don't forget to share. And at the same time, you can go to our Instagram and the YouTube channels, Udala Radio, join this very conversation. This is a program of news and current affairs that takes conversation from developments in the country as captured by various newspapers. And we're going to begin from home here before we get to the papers. I'm going to show two of you two posters that I ran into yesterday, and I hope you have seen these very two posters. This is one of them. In fact, I posted it on my status yesterday and also my Facebook page, and then this is the second one. Posters of two women vying for the same position. All right, one person is vying under the platform of APGA, and the other is vying under the platform of ADC. Now, the second person on the platform of ADC was initially seen in the poster on the platform of Labour Party, and now ADC. And I was wondering what is happening. I'm talking about the poster with continuity, justice for justice. Justina Makazoka, vying for Onitsha North Constituency 1, or Onitsha North 1 Constituency in Anambra State House of Assembly. And then you have the other poster that bears Mimi former Azikiwe for Anambra State House Assembly on Onitsha North 1 constituency. Now, why am I bringing up this? But I think two women going for the same position. And like I mentioned that the wife of Azoka, initially we saw her poster on Labour Party and now on ADC. Tony, do you have an idea of what happened that we're now seeing the poster in ADC?
Really not surprised. This is politics, and anything can happen in politics. The husband was a member of Labour Party, and he died as a member of Labour Party. So we had thought ordinarily that Labour would, if they want to support her, probably make her the candidate. But we didn't see that happening. But there was speculation at the beginning that she could be the candidate of the Labour. Definitely the political parties will do what they are supposed to do in line with the provisions of the Electoral Act and the Constitution as well. So surprisingly, we saw her becoming the candidate of ADC, African Democratic Congress, the coalition party. And for some, they believe that it is a coalition of both Labour and both other political parties that are not of ruling party. So that is just the case. But this is politics. You use whatever you have to sell your candidate. And some who are managing her, they are trying to sell her as a candidate to ensure that she wins. And one of the styles or one of the criteria or one of the format they're using, they're trying to use emotional appeal. That's what they're trying to use. Using emotional appeal. So that the husband died while on the seat is important to ensure continuity. But questions have not been asked if she has the capacity. Remember, political offices shouldn't be a reward system. It should be greatly devoted, dedicated to service.
So, Tony, yesterday, when the poster was flying everywhere on the social media, especially on Facebook, some persons were asking questions whether she willingly on her own wanted to do this or whether she's been railroaded into this very contest.
I think why people put pressure on her to do same was because when Mebuaneze died, as we spoke the last time, and there was this pressure, the party then decided that the wife should complete the term of the husband as a way to either reward her or to reward her constituency or to reward the man's support and loyalty to the party.
So political offices are now a reward.
That's what I'm saying. It should not be a reward system. But the woman, when she came on, she did well. I saw her moving motions. I saw her doing a lot of things. I was asking if she was doing that with the husband, while the husband was alive. Because I know her as one a plus woman. Like, she has body, and I saw what she was doing. I was worried.
The big question will be, Tony, who was this woman before her husband died?
I barely don't know her.
Exactly. No, you may not necessarily know her, but people have backgrounds without being loud. For starters, these are both women, and if you know me well, you should know that once women are involved, I am so ready to cheer them on. I do not have a problem with any of these women. However, I am afraid that this system of making political offices a reward or a compensation has to stop. And so because he worked with a certain Mibwanese, does it make it right? That's the big question. First it was LP, next it was ADC. And so the question is this really what she wants? Or are there some political gladiators nudging her on?
I think the issue it will be that the text of the whole thing is in the eating. So let's give us the space. This is democracy. Let the people decide. Let the people say who they want. And she's not the only candidate. We have other candidates anyway. But then we have candidates from YPP. We have candidates from APC. There are other candidates. And these ones are men anyway. But why we are so much concerned about these two, they are women. ADC and ABGA. Very young women. I have looked at them. Very bright. One is a lawyer. The other one seems to be the wife of the occupier of the very seat. So the point is, we have to give them the space. This is democracy. Let them go and test the popularity. But one thing people should have in mind is that while you are voting, you must look at capacity to deliver, not necessarily compensation. Capacity to deliver. Yeah, just like you said, it worked for Umebuaneze, even when people thought it was compensation, but you went and delivered. But let's look at it. Look at these people, not just two of them being women, other candidates like men. Look at the background, what they can offer, and at the same time what the party can also offer, because they don't just go alone. Party is also involved. And look if they can add to the progress, development of Onitsha 1 North constituency. Is important. We factor these things.
All right. And to add to this, because my own concern is, if there are people who are somewhere, nudging her on, urging her to go for it, of course, they should ensure that they should ensure that they get her to the destination. And the person becomes stranded, okay? Trying to use somebody just because you have your own particular purpose of going for that. We're just hoping that the best, happens. And now we're going to go to the papers and see the stories that are making the headline. But lest I forget, I had these very thoughts running in my head since yesterday after I saw some stories on the social media space. I'm talking about, I saw a story about former political appointees who serve under Obiano, coming together in Oka and endorsing of the APC Guba candidate in Anambra State. Then yesterday we saw a group of about 40, group of persons. They said there were 40 former House of Assembly members also coming out to endorse the APC governorship candidate. And it's been there that, he's getting momentum. And that reminded me of what happened in the last Guba election in Anambra State when Andy Uba was the Guba candidate of APC. Almost all the gladiators in Anambra politics were congregating under APC, behind Andy Uba. At the end of the day, they went to the polls. And the result was the opposite. So, is what happened in the last Guba election about to repeat itself?
I don't know. I have been keen. We must let people know this. There are a group of people under this umbrella. I think they have the convener, one Owelem Basso. We must be very factual about this. They have been going around trying to support a candidate that will give them the severance package. What is severance package? If you're leaving office, more like gratuity in civil service. I think the package given to you for job well done. So in the realm of political service, it's called severance package. You are severing from the system, so there was something given to you to say well done. Then in the realm of civil service, it's called gratuity, gratitude. That's from the word. So that is it. So but these people, they worked under Obiano. You know, remember Obiano appointed over 2,000 political appointees. At a point it dropped, at a point it went high. Many of them SSAs, SAs, EAs, and they never had offices. Many of them were even living abroad. Many of them were doing their businesses. But when Obiano term finished on the 17th day of March 2022, he did not pay them severance package. In fact, in the appointment letter, I didn't even know whether it contains a severance package. Obiano paid himself, paid his kitchen cabinet, paid some commissioners, but did not pay this large number of SSAs, some of them special advisors, SAs, and all of that. And they now formed an association. They formed a group demanding justice. Now, for them, it is justice. What are they demanding? Compensation. I mean, look at the number. When Charles Chukwuma Soludo came on, they started pressuring him to pay that amount. If you look at the amount in view, even if you decide to pay them 3 million, that money will run into billions. And Charles Chukwuma Soludo looked around and said, I never employed you. It is not within my jurisdiction to pay you severance. Your employer pays you severance. But they argued government is a continuum, that there is no vacuum in governance. So in all of that, the question again was, where would I get the money to give you when your boss, your principal, when he said he inherited almost nothing, and then he has a tax before him? And these political appointees, they joined the opposition, started saying all manner of things against Soludo and all that. There was a time Soludo had a meeting with them and appealed to their conscience and asked them to think of Anambra State, development of Anambra State, as against most of these things they are thinking. They ran to Ifeanyi Uba promised to pay them compensation and the severance package if he becomes the governor. Now Ifeanyi Uba died while such arrangement was on, and even tried to become the candidate of APC. They had now run to other candidates, but I think the latest they ran to was the candidate of APC, Prince Nicholas Okachukwu, who made a public pledge that once he becomes the governor, he will pay them the severance package. They are not thinking about Anambra State. What they are thinking about is their severance package. And that severance package, for them, it means so much. And they pride it ahead of the development of the state. If that is paid, it could affect payment of workers who are still in the service, and it can also affect developmental stride of the government. So I have looked around, and I have also argued that if your principal couldn't pay you when he paid himself, it is morally bankrupt to load it on the next governor and demand he make such payments, even when the number is outrageous. If you're talking about a number that is more, let's say 100 and 200, it makes meaning, and one would say, oh, look at it, just look at the figures. But the number, that is outrageous, humongous.
These people are arguing that what would have been used to offset their severance package was, put into election that brought the governor in. That's the argument they have been putting out there.
Let me say this. It's left. I think it will be a mockery for somebody to claim that he made so person governor. The people of an Anambra State, the Anambra, decided. Yes, you may canvass for votes as a canvasser, but you may canvass. Somebody may say no. We have seen times with that number where people go out to canvass for votes, but people will reject them. You think those who lose election do not canvass for votes? They do canvass, but people rejected them. So you wouldn't say you canvass and people responded, made you to put the governor. You did not put the governor. So you did not.
So are you seeing similarity between what happened in 2021 when we had the gubernatorial election and what is happening now, where people are congregating because they think that Napompo Gaweba
the one thing they should know about the governor of Anambra, he does not share money. If you are looking for anything money sharing, you don't need to come close to him. He doesn't share money. He has proven it over time that we have a tax to build Anambra State, to develop Anambra State. So, but then if you think of your personal, gains, look at Obiano during the time of Obiano. Do you know how much he was spending on these appointees? Yes, but another thing, because the only thing good about it could have been, or maybe that there was a kind of employment. he gave employment to youth ordinarily that would have gone into all manner of crimes.
I beg to differ.
But
Tony.
that's what some people think. But government does not give such employment. By dishing out appointment. That's not employment.
I was going to ask you a question. An employment that doesn't develop you, are you really doing the youth any good? Or probably rewarding not necessarily political paymasters, but political interests? Because a lot of these people, I expect that a system that grows is one where people are learning while on the job. As much as you already have the skills which qualified you. But in every field you are in, as you gain experience, you grow, preparing you for bigger positions, bigger challenges. Now, if it's not for the kind of unchecked democracy we run, giving these people this kind of job is creating a problem in the future.
Exactly.
Because they are going to get so relaxed, and then when they eventually get into the system, they start to also do as they were done to, keeping us with this outrageous cost of governance, and also having a teeming youthful population that is not useful. I tell you, because being a political noisemaker on social media and being paid above minimum wage is not a job.
It's called political vuvuzela.
And you know one thing?
Vuvuzela.
I remember.
Interesting.
People don't even know
this. It's not a job.
When Soludo came in, he slashed the amount paid to political appointees. People don't know this. So those who served under Willie were paid more. For him, he's a conservative and conservativist, in the sense that he wants to conserve the resources for the development of the state. But for those of them who are still loitering around, desperately sniffing for crumbs in the name of severance package, their conduct reeks of entitlement. And I do next for me, and the shameful refusal to embrace reality. And then they should know that public office is not a lifetime pension scheme. It is a service, not servitude to self. And these former appointees had their names at the table 8 full years. Many of them were there for 8 full years.
Is there something we can do in the law to curb this?
And you know one thing.
Sorry,
we have talked about this.
Sorry, was that their entitlement? Because we can put out that question. Was that the entitlement?
You look at their appointment letter, what it stipulates, and many of them, if it is contained in appointment letter, I bet you some of them would have gone to court to challenge that, but it's not there. So if your appointment letter contains that there should be a severance packet for you, many of them will use that letter and go to court and say, we are given this and that wasn't fulfilled. So they will have a locus, but that wasn't in the appointment letter. But let me say this, because it's important that we mention this. And for you don't just promise anything for you to be the governor. I will do this for you if I win. Support me if I. And for me, that is a sign of what to come. The era of freeloaders for me is over, and it must be important we make it known that there is no room in this forward-moving trend for political pensioners who can't even point to a single sustainable initiative they championed while in office.
All right, so for us to close this very chapter, would you agree with me that politics seems to be the biggest business in Nigeria? Because I was analyzing this on Saturday, and I came to the conclusion that once it's political era, once it's electioneering, the economy is reflated. Take, for instance, now Anambra is going to election. The printers are benefiting. Music groups are benefiting. You talk about event planners, cooks, media, MCs, sound managers, rental service, ushering service, tailors, people who brand cap and t-shirts, people who are in the outdoor advertising, just mention it. Private security, entertainers, praise singers, they're all benefiting. So if we say it's the biggest business in Nigeria, we might not be wrong.
Actually, it is one of the most lucrative, not just the biggest, but one of the most lucrative. That is also one of the reasons why we have the kind of political system that we have, where people scramble, political offices become a do or die affair, because they know that once they get in, it is unchecked. They do what they like and go. Look at developed crimes. Every time we talk about developed crimes, developed crimes, when you go over there, once you are not going the way you should, the pressure mounts. These people resign honorably. But over here, the kind of reckless immunity that we have our constitution backing is alarming.
Okay, so we are going to go to the papers now. Stay with us. Okay, so thank you for staying tuned to the Radio 104.7 FM. You are listening to the Polity this Tuesday morning, the 29th of July 2025. My name is Franklin and Ebuka. We get to the papers now. We have four of them this day: Punch, Vanguard, and the Guardian newspapers. And we'll begin with the Guardian newspaper. The first headline we have here says, "Poor digital retail offerings, 85 trillion naira stock market potential." That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Check this very story. Then, beneath the nameplate, you see another headline that says 4 trillion naira legacy debt threatens power sector stability. Udala warns. Udala is the Minister of Power. SDP expels El Rufai, bans him for 30 years. Page 3. They said he is not a member of SDP. So, on what ground was he expelled? NMA threatening strike. Rules exit of 30 doctors in Jigawa. Check page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Other stories we have here: RISIEC fixes August 30 for LG polls as group kicks. That's on page 7. That's a River State. Current firms profit. Okay, current firms profit up by 229% on FX stability as revenue hits 3.2 trillion naira. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Tinubu honors Super Falcons with OON flat millions for WAFCON triumph. That's on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. Under headline, WHO declares hepatitis D cancerous, urges swift global action. That's on page 4. And MRA records 141 attacks on journalists in 2 years. That's on page 4. Security forces kill 45 bandits in Niger. Suffer casualty in Castina. That's on page 20 of the Guardian newspaper. Then we have other headlines on the Guardian. And this one says, P2B concluded plans for return to PDP. Ali Modu Sheriff. I saw him yesterday. I wonder, where was he coming from? And then, Mwifru suspends 87 Ebonyi officials over absence at government function. If 87 were suspended, Madon F. So these are the headlines we have on the Guardian newspaper.
The same question I asked when I saw that report: 87 whole government officials, and the question would be, what kind of event are we talking about, and what was the criteria? Was it compulsory for all of them to be there? And again, when we talk about government functions, it was the other day we were asking why all of these government functions in the first place. We talk of the amount spent on those events. Oh, please. Let's go to the Punch newspaper. We have the banner headline here is Electricity Act Amendment Bill. FG may sell 11 discos to a new investor. This is on page 37. The riders, excuse me, please. Any RC to enforce discusses recapitalization, reprivatization. Amendment Bill advances at NAS. Now, above the nameplate of the paper, 2027, APC kicks as opposition backs single-day polls. Find that on page 2. FG launches crackdown on MDAs after 300% surge in impressed claims. On page 38, U.S. birth tourism crackdown sparks. Nigerian hospital reforms calls. That's on page 35. When I saw this headline, I was asking myself, so we needed US to start cracking down on birth tourism before we start having the conversation on reforming a health sector that claims millions of lives of innocent Nigerians, tax-paying Nigerians every year. It's a big shame. Also on the Punch newspaper front page, Lassa fever death toll rises to 152 amid 811 cases on page 24. Also, you'd see that states versus Disco's new electricity law unleashes widespread crisis on page 7. GIC in turmoil as faction moves to sack Lagos APC chairman on page 36. Cheating, Ondo girl nabbed for stabbing boyfriend to death. Pages 4 and 5. Nurses strike to hit hospitals nationwide Wednesday on page 30.
Okay, so over to Vanguard newspaper, we have this one that says Tinubu gives each Firecon players $100,000 national honors. House. It's on page 5. We have a riders to the story. Allocate 3-bedroom apartments. Each technical crew got $50,000. Explains why he didn't want to watch final match. Another headline says our resilience saved Nigeria varsities from total collapse under Buhari. That's ASU is saying so. It's on page 11 of the Vanguard newspaper. Another headline says over 130 security agents killed in ongoing Katsina anti-banditry war. Check page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. You see the writer there. It says bandits kill 38 hostages after collecting 50 million naira ransom in Zamfara. That's quite pathetic. Also unveils initiative to connect Nigerian expert at home diaspora. Is on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper. The other headline says 2027 coalition about Nigeria, not me, will be El Rufai Amechi. Who is saying so? Atiku Abubakar. You can see these headlines on Vanguard newspaper. And we'll cross over to this day newspaper. We have the headline that says P2B president using misleading statistics to conceal economic hardship. Check page 9 of this day newspaper. Then the headline above the nameplate, e-payment transactions rise 17.7% to 284.99 trillion naira in Q1 2025. That's in first quarter of 2021. It has a rider POS transactions hit 10.45 trillion naira, a record 209% increase. You can continue the story on page 5 of this day newspaper. Then Tinubu rewards each Falcon player with $100,000, 3-bedroom flat, national honor. There are riders here. Recalls how his wife almost abandoned his dinner due to the tension-soaked match. All 36 governors give 10 million naira each to players and technical crew. First Lady described players as role models, shining examples of courage and excellence. Team's victory, symbol of national unity, inspiration, triumph of belief, says decode. Read that story on page 9 of this day newspaper. And these are the headlines we can take this very morning. But before we leave the headlines, let's add this one on this day too. NCDMB facilitates creation of over 50,000 jobs, 12 million training man hour. That's on page 5 of this day newspaper. These are the headlines we have this very morning. Stay with us. Okay, thank you for staying tuned. And we have to go to the analysis now. It was everywhere yesterday. The moment the Super Falcons, arrived in Nigeria and went on parade in Abuja with the trophy, and then got to the presidential villa, everywhere Saloko, every social media space and every media space Saloko, with the story of the reward that Mr. President gave to the victorious Super Falcons, 100,000 naira for each of the players, a national honor of OON, and then $50,000 for the technical crew, and then 3-bedroom apartment for all the players. And he said that you made Nigeria proud. I didn't want to watch the match until they came and put on television, forcing me to watch. And by the time when you were 2-0 down, I was down. But somehow, he heard shouts of glory, and lo and behold, Falcons were able to come back from 2-0, and then they won that very much. And I can recall what I told somebody I was with when I saw the picture of the first lady. I said, I said, this woman, they watched this man from the kitchen, because the way the TV was positioned. And Mr. President confirmed that the wife almost denied him dinner because she was watching the match. Tony, splash of reward yesterday, and it's been mixed reactions. Some persons are saying fantastic, but some persons are saying, how dare you splash our common partner money in this very manner without approval?
Without approval? Remember, the president has a security vote, so he can dip his hand in his security vote and splash any amount, and then that security vote is a cultural thing. Remember, it is appropriated, but at the same time, there is no ministry that supervises Mr. President's security vote. But that's by the way. Let me begin by the triumphant Super Falcons. I must let you know that Sussex has 100 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. It was one of the quotes by John F. Kennedy, and that tells you that with Sussex you have many parents, but failure remains an orphan. When you succeed, everyone claims to have helped you. When you fail, you are left alone with their scars, and everybody wants to be associated with success, but no one wants to be blamed for failure. It tells a lot. I watched the match myself, just as Mr. President did, and that was the only match I watched throughout the tournament. I had never watched any. I'm a fantastic sports analyst, but it's a story for another day. And when I turned the television, watching the game, the first I saw was 2-0. I didn't even start from scratch. Immediately, I asked that the television be turned on for me. I saw 2-0, but I didn't lose hope, because I know the pedigree of the Super Falcons, what they had done in the past, and I also learned they defeated South Africa before coming into that very game. So the thing I was telling myself, if they can get just one goal, that would be the turnaround. That would be the momentum. Remember, the first half finished with Super Falcons being 2-0 down. And I was saying, all they need, and they had the best of possession. They had the best of the stats, even in that first half. They had the best of everything. Just that they conceded 2 goals. I think one before the first 10 minutes and the other goal. So immediately that game was on. There comes the second half. Immediately the referee awarded the penalty. Remember, the VAR, video assistant referee, called the referee to the pitch side monitor that there was a handball. But this referee did not spot. And immediately the referee watched the pitch side monitor and also concurred with the video assistant referee that there was a handball. And that was the first penalty. And then Okoronkwo, the young lady that wears jersey number, is it 6?
From Abia State.
From Abia State. In fact, immediately I saw that young lady, I begin to like her. Honestly.
You begin to like her?
Definitely. And
you like her?
I'm talking about her posture in the pitch. Her calmness.
Okay.
She just plays like one of these Arsenal defender, I think Saliba, with a kind of calmness. And look at her face, very young. So immediately she scored that penalty, and that was the momentum, because look at the hunger. When they scored the penalty, they rushed to the goalpost of the Moroccans and grabbed the ball back to the center pitch. What did that tell you? It tells you that these girls are hungry, and that's not just where it stopped. There comes when they equalize. It was true, a free kick. The free kick was the winning goal anyway. And you saw how the same girl in question, how she dribbled past some defenders and crossed the ball. She assisted for the second goal. And there comes the second goal. And what saved Super Eagles was when the center referee awarded a penalty against Nigeria. In fact, the young lady who was to score the penalty, that would have made it 3-2, 3-1. That would have made it 3-2 in favor of the Moroccans, 3-2. And the person who was to take the penalty had also grabbed the ball, waiting, and everybody had concluded that it was going to be a penalty for the Morocco. What happened? Referee again was called to go to pitch side monitor and watch that very handball that she thought demanded a penalty, even when everybody was waiting for penalty to be scored. In fact, the young lady had the ball on her hands, and then the referee trying to position everybody to be in place for the penalty to be kicked, only for a signal to come again from nowhere that she should just go to the pitch side monitor and watch that scenario. And she watched it. After watching it, she agreed that the hand of the young lady was at the natural, in fact, was at natural position. The ball hit her, but the hand was deemed to be at the natural position. The penalty was cancelled. Immediately that penalty was cancelled, I told everyone around me, Nigeria Super Falcons will win this game. And here comes the same free kick, the same girl Okoronko floated the free kick. She assisted 2 goals, scored 1, and here comes. So
at this point, we take a break. When we on break, I'll ask you a question.
All right. Is this polity or football?
Exactly. Exactly. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Good news and welcome to Winners Global Estate, Heaven in Ogwashuku and Nyocha Local Government Area, Asaba, Delta State. Home sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, mamas and papas, Winners Global Estate is here with a special promo package for real winners. Don't miss out in this laudable promo 2025, Heaven on Earth.
Buy, build, live, work, and enjoy. Unlock your dream home of reality. Winners Global Estate is selling fast. 3.5 million, 50 by 100. No more 7 million. Promo price. For booking and more information, please call
081 64 40 4098 or 080 37 44 3787. Winners Global Estate. Your security is assured.
Winners and Winners Global Estate. Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, I'll pack it on the yellow. Wendy's bread, mama papa they like Wendy's bread, that kitchen and do. Wendy's bread, even children they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, you get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's your body choma. Wendy's bread, champion.
Wendy's bread, your tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, 2nd Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Summer coding camp. Mama Chisom, how do you manage your kids during these long vacations? I am already tired of Mesoma and Chidio. These kids are really after my life. I can't even rest again.
I used to feel the same way too. Until our woman leader introduced me to Edufon Technique Coding Camp last year. It changed everything for me.
Mommy, I just coded my first Crash game. Come and play with me.
At Edufon Technique STEM Summer Coding Camp, your kids will learn the following: coding with Scratch, robotics, computer appreciation, piano lessons, storytelling with AI, science experiments, and so much more. All in a fun, engaging environment, hands-on. To register, visit us at number 6 Ridge Road, GRA, opposite EEDC, Onitsha, or call 070-616-33338. Hurry now, spots are limited. Edufon Technique STEM Hub, where fun meets innovation.
Edufon Technique STEM Summer Coding Camp.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
All right, thank you for staying tuned to the Radio 104.7 FM. You are listening to The Polity here on the Seriously Authentic radio station. My name is Franklin and Ebuka. Dr. Olisa Mbeki and Chisom Chinedolo of us are together on the very conversation, and we'll quickly just try to finish up that very conversation on the reward which Mr. President announced for the Super Falcons who won the 10th WAFCON title. So, Tony, now we shift to what people are saying, what Nigerians are saying. Many are saying that, this is a well-deserved reward for these girls. Now, of course, this is going to spoil young girls to know that they can become somebody by taking to football and what have you not. And they are saying that it also shows that Nigeria appreciates, patriotism and the hard work that these young Nigerians have put in for Nigeria. But on the other side of it, we have seen some persons who have some reservations, like a lawyer, FM Onitsha. He said, how much did England give the Lioness for winning the women's Euros? That's a question he put up. Now, he's saying that perhaps the reason rich countries get richer is because they understand how to prioritize resources. And he says, sports tournaments often come with a monetary prize that is shared between the players, management, and federation. Additional rewards are fine, but for a country facing financial challenges, these should be handled with moderation. 7 billion naira in cash, excluding houses, is simply too much. In hindsight, I now understand and even respect Obasanjo's famous presidential handshake for our victorious athletes. He really gave out cash reward. I think it's time we migrate to the methodologies used by Western countries to reward patriotic endeavors. Time to end monetary reward system for patriotic activities. And then the question now becomes, what Mr. President did, is it arbitrary? Because Ibefe is asking question, how do presidents and governors declare arbitrary cash award without passing through the budgetary process? So that reward, was it arbitrary? Was it too much for people who brought honor to Nigerian? And considering the kind of situation we are in, was that too much? Would you agree with those who are saying that we have other priorities that government should have channeled money into?
I guess if you look around, I must be honest to you. If you look at when you look at these tournaments, I'm aware that somebody mentioned England. I am aware when they won, their female team won sometime around 2014. They were given a cash. Each player got about $350,000. £350,000. That was way back 2014. But one would ask, but this is not World Cup. This is African tournament. And you ask me, is the money so much? Let's begin with the first question. Why didn't it pass through budgetary appropriation? The president has security votes, security money. So some of these gifts he does give out. He brings it mostly from his security votes. So once he does that, remember, is security money appropriated for? Yes. But one would also ask, is the money, when the money is given to the Super Falcons, is it related to issue of security? And one thing about issue of security, it is multifaceted. If these young girls, if they are not properly rewarded, they could go into protest. And if they go into protest, it threatens the security. So it could be seen from that angle. I remember sometime.
But why would they go into protest? Because they are playing for Nigeria, which is a privilege, because there are so many persons who would like to play for Nigeria, but they have not gotten that. And when they play, they get their match bonuses. So are they doing Nigeria in favor that must be returned?
One thing you should know is this: there is need for motivation. I must say this: other countries are doing what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done. It is the culture of most countries. They give out money, especially when they have a victorious team. So what is the problem if we do some with our own? If you look at the amount given to these young ladies, $100,000, just that because our money has no value.
About 150 million.
153 million. That's what it amounts to. And if you look at 153 million, one will say, oh, this amount is too big. But in dollar equivalent, it is $100,000. And let me tell you this: There are other countries. If South Africa, if Moroccans, if they had won this, I bet you, their country would have given them something much more than $100,000. It would have given them anything, not anything less than $300,000. But we can say that Moroccans, they don't have the same economic challenges we're having. Yes, the president did what he did. I remember even the one President Muhammadu Buhari fulfilled in 2023. Remember the victorious Super Eagles in 1994 World Cup, African Cup of Nations. They were promised 3-bedroom apartments, cash reward, and these things were not fulfilled because we had a military government then. Abacha government did not fulfill some of the promises, but Abacha government made the promise. He didn't fulfill it till he died. Successive government did not do it until Buhari in 2023 or thereabouts fulfilled the promise made to Super Eagles that won AFCON in 1994. Many of them have died as well. And then you asked, even those that won the 2013-2014 edition, Jonathan gave them money. But one would ask, how much did Jonathan give them? Jonathan gave each player 10 million naira. I'm talking about those that won AFCON in 2013-2014. The one Stephen Kechi, the very group that Stephen Kechi coached. And we can recall that very tournament very well. So you can imagine, compare 10 million as at that time and 153 million. In fact, that 10 million, if you convert it now, it's about 150 something. I think it's about 156 million presently. The 10 million Jonathan gave in 2014, the present value now is 156 million. That's the present value. So you compare what Jonathan gave. One would say, oh, Jonathan gave to men, but these are women. And some people will bring gender biased issues. What would women do with this money? If you are giving to men, you know, they have families. They have this, they have that. Women also have families. But the point I'm trying to make is this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave from his generous heart. And at the same time, but I'm not saying a president should just go on to splash money. He should show moderation. So people have argued.
So are you saying now,
definitely, what the president, if I were Mr. President, I wouldn't have given them dollar equation of the money. I would have given them 100 million. Simple. He wouldn't, you know, why he did what he did was to send signal to outside world. To send signal. If South Africa were to do this, they would give him rands.
Exactly, I was going to ask a question.
He said they are going to get equivalents of $100,000 in naira.
He should not have mentioned that. He should have mentioned everything in naira. See, and if he had given, for me, what I feel, I'm not him. If he had given 100 million without mentioning all this naira and the dollar thing, I think it would have been fair. But he has chosen to do it the way he has done. In fact, there is nothing wrong showing appreciation. Nigeria, I saw the FIFA president handing the trophy to victorious Super Falcons. Nothing is small. How much is this? What do you call it? This thing that is on now. What do you call that? That is how much is the winner? The winner will cost on with 150 million. That's what we are told in total price. In total,
prize money.
But then the point remains that these are people many Nigerians don't even win. And let me say this: there is nothing small to motivate anybody who is doing good. There is nothing small.
Okay, so let's now switch gears and get to Ebonyi State, where the governor of Ebonyi State shocked everybody yesterday. In fact, when I saw the press statement, I was asking myself, what thing they happen? Governor of Ebonyi State, Francis Nwifuru, has ordered the immediate suspension of 87 top government officials for failing to attend an important official function. The suspended officials include 25 commissioners, 14 senior special assistants, 24 special assistants, and 22 permanent secretaries. The suspension was announced on Monday night in a statement signed by the Nwifuru's spokesperson, Monday Uzo. Now, according to the statement, the suspension takes immediate effect, and the suspended officials are barred from signing any official documents during this very period. What would we call this? That they were suspended for not attending an official function. So, how important was that very function to the governor?
I'd also like to point out that this is not the first time Nwifuru is suspending members of his team.
Exactly. And if a governor has an event that he expects members of his cabinet to attend, and somebody fails to attend, is it a sign of disloyalty, Tony?
It's a sign of disloyalty if you are asked to attend. If you are working for your principal, remember you are loyal to your principal, you are accountable to your principal, and then you should also obey him at all time. And you are serving the state because he brought you forward to serve the state. I'm aware that in March, sometime around March, during the State Executive Council meeting, he ordered 1 month suspension of the 3 commissioners. I'm aware he suspended Solomon Azi, and then Victor Zomachuku, who was at that point Commissioner for Environment, and then Ikowa Omebe, who was Commissioner for Rural Development, and they were suspended for being absent without permission from the council meeting. That was, they did not attend State Executive Council meeting, and then they were given 1 month suspension. But then during the suspension period, they were relieved of all privileges associated with their offices. In fact, their official cars were taken away from them, allowances and meeting, and also sometime around November to December 2024, and we saw the same governor again suspending many commissioners. In fact, he suspended the housing commissioner, health commissioner. He suspended the permanent secretary, heads of healthcare agencies for 3 months. And he also suspended commissioner for water resources indefinitely.
Can you call this an act of discipline or somebody being high-handed?
There is somehow a disconnect somewhere. There is a disconnect somewhere. If you look around, either there is a communication breach and order, and then you look at I'm just trying to let you know how his suspension routine has become in Nigeria. I think is the most when it comes to suspension, and then 87 senior officials. This time around, commissioners, senior assistants, aides, permanent secretaries. This time around for failing to attend that important government function. And if you look around from what happened last year, November, December, what happened around March, and what happened this July, it tells you a lot. So he has consistently enforced strict discipline in his administration. He has targeted absenteeism, misconduct, but he had done this through suspension. So this latest one is large scale, 87 of them, just like you said, on them again, on efforts. So it was a pure large scale. He keeps saying that these actions will continue to serve as a stern warning to all public officials in Ebonyi State.
Now, so let's understand how important attending public functions is to governor, because I can recall I think that should be around March or thereabout this year, when the governor of Akwa Ibom State, issued a stern warning to members of his ESCO, threatening to sanction any cabinet member who fails to adhere to official protocols of his engagement. He said, if you go to function and you leave before me, you are going to lose your job. Or if you go to function at Choga Flogi, you are going to lose your job. So how important is this to governors? Let's understand how important it is in the discharge of the functions of the governor.
I think somehow, how is it important? It's important that if a governor comes to a particular place, there is this mobilization around him, and most governors would want when they're addressing the people, and people could raise question: who is commissioner? Ask commissioner, they should be around him. But then, if he likes engaging with the people at all time, anywhere he goes, so there could be time. There could be a question, and he may need first-hand information from the respective commissioner where the commissioner is absent. It makes a kind of mockery. And for Governor Umo, where he said that if you leave before me, that you are going to get sacked. These things are not things that should be said or done in the public. You don't do these things in public. Banks and corporate organizations sanction their staff without you knowing. But one would say these are no banks, these are people who are serving us, so whatever they do should be public, and they have decided to make it public. My concern is, in Anambra here, if the governor moves around, you see local government officials, the party members mobilizing. In fact, there will be a crowd for the governor to know who is around and who is not around. Do you see that? If they have such a culture there.
So is that sycophancy?
We call it it depends on the purpose of the visit.
Do you think
it depends on the purpose of the visit? If the visit is to inspect projects, he doesn't need some of these people. All he needs would be commissioner for works and those who are concerned with that very project.
Do you think, Tony, that this symbolizes a crack in the Ebonyi State Governor's cabinet? And also, do you think that the way he's going about it is the right way? Because like I pointed out, when Franklin started the conversation, I noted that this is not the first time Ebonyi State Governor is suspending people working with him because of certain infractions. Do you think he is sensing a sort of disloyalty and he's trying to curb it early?
He's sensing disloyalty, there's no doubt. And for him to have come out this way, he must have handed warnings.
Is this the best way?
And for me, it's not the best way. If somebody is not committed to work with you, why don't you relieve the person? And you know why this thing is being troubling? Do you know why? Some of those who are working for him, they were appointed by or recommended by the Minister of Works. And he cannot unilaterally sack them. He is not totally in control of his government. A governor who is totally in control of his government would not have this kind of problem. Umo who made some allegation, there were some that the Senate President brought into his cabinet, and he goes more like shopping for stakeholders, sons and daughters. And if you shop for stakeholders, sons and daughters, they may not give you that commitment, because these people from day one, they were not ready to work with you. But because of political opportunism, what you intend to get or the support you intend to get from whoever that is linked to the person, you get them on. And they are not working. I tell you this, if the governor was the one that on his own picked these appointees, let's say there's no way governor will pick almost every appointee. There are those that will be recommended to him. But that recommendation will be based on capacity, not on political opportunism.
Now,
so that is the problem.
Let's leave this very much now move over to the motoring we have been hearing. A second person has said that P2B is on his way to the PDP. We heard from Professor Jerry Ghana. He said they were wooing P2B to come back to PDP. Later, somebody else said that Obi will return to PDP to run for the presidential election in 2027. Yesterday, Senator Alimo Dishere, former governor of Ebonyi State, on TV, he also claimed that P2B is on his way back to the People's Democratic Party, and according to him, plans are being perfected for him to return and vie for the presidency under the PDP.
What they want to do to P2B is more you look, the less you see.
Is PDP flying kite, or are we going to go by this saying that there's no smoke without fire?
Yes, there is no smoke without fire. And PDP, remember, have said before now that it is in coma. And they have to wake the sleeping dog. And they have hatched this plan. They have perfected every measure to use P2B to revive PDP. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to achieve.
So you don't see Obi going back to PDP?
The thing is this. There is a problem with the Labour Party. There is a problem at the ADC level. Obi for now may make political calculations. There is a possibility, but for me, he should leave PDP and their problems. PDP has become a political relic as we speak now. And what they want to do, they want to use Obi to stop Atiku. That's what they want to do. And that is their game plan. The best way to stop Atiku is to use Obi. And don't be surprised that those who are pushing P2B to PDP, there are those who are working for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Look at what Kachim Chetima said last night, and I listened to him. He was talking about how he brought, I'm talking about Ali Modi Sharif, not Kachim Chetima. Ali Modi Sharif, who was governor for 8 years in Borno State, who handed over to Kachim Chetima. He said he brought him from bank. He made him commissioner for finance, commissioner for agriculture, and commissioner for rural development. And at a point, he had a candidate who he wanted to succeed him, but the candidate was killed by Boko Haram. And then from nowhere, he called Kachim Chetima and asked him to come over, and that was how he made him governor. And then he said that Tinubu made Kachim Chetima vice president without anybody's consultation. But when he was asked if Chetima called him to tell him, he said yes, he did. So you find out that he enjoys good relationship with Chetima. And now the Ali Modi Sharif, who had worked for APC while being the PDP chairman, who was ousted by likes of Wike, is still doing this job. So what they want to do is very simple. They want to bring P2B to water whatever article pose, whatever threat he poses. So if Obi follows them, he knows that definitely he's also working for Tinubu. So Tinubu is a political strategist, and he has men all over, those who are doing one thing or the other for him.
Can we test the depth of the water with one leg now? Where do we see Obi ending? Because if you look at every permutation, he might not get ticket in ADC, and if that Ahmed fails to reconcile the warring factions in Labour Party, he will not get a ticket in Labour Party. What is his fate?
There are 16 political parties or 18 political parties, and there are many of them that would want to have Obi as a candidate. And then the momentum ADC was nothing now until some coalition forces, if according to Mr. President, coalition of confused politicians, until they move in there, and ADC now became what it is now. So the point I'm trying to make is there are many political parties, about 18 as we speak, and INEC is ready to register more.
So what do you think that is going to make of his political career? Because I'm just wondering, if he makes a wrong step in 2027, it might be the end of his political career.
It might not really be. 2027 election wouldn't, if Atiku had contested many and he didn't win, that hasn't ended his political career, so it won't be
the followership he enjoys, the organic followership he enjoys. If he makes a wrong move, he might lose a good chunk of it.
If he may lose a good, if he makes wrong move, and that wrong move could be being a vice president to Atiku. There are those that will leave him, and there are those that will follow him. And one thing you need is this: there's no way you go straight to Aso Rock without that handshake across the Niger. There must be handshake.
So do you think that
there must be handshake across the Niger for you to get to Aso Rock?
That the PDP is a platform where this handshake is assured, because all of these things are mere speculations at the best. But the chances of Obi going back to the PDP, do you see it, especially with the whole bickering about ADC having a primary, which we all agree is a ploy for some persons who they want in to get in, and other people who it's just like finding a legal way to say we already know this person is the person that we will give this, but let's just give every other person a chance.
I think
I'm just asking, for starters, one, do you think that the ADC has any chance there? And if he does not have any chance in the ADC, like some persons have predicted, is the PDP the right destination? And then do you also think that him being on the ballot, Dati Ahmed on the ballot, Tinubu on the ballot, and possibly an Atiku on the ballot, don't you think that with this spread, it would still give the APC a chance to clinch the office?
You have said it all. All the PDP governors have endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I don't know if there is any governor who hasn't said it either overtly or covertly. They have all endorsed him, even Adeleke. They have all the PDP governors. So if Obi comes there, he becomes a mockery. That's what he's gonna be. So he should stay clear from PDP. That is one. And secondly, if Obi should do some political strategy, he should be thinking of how he could work with likes of Juan Kwaso, who is now in political limbo, who is being courted by ADC.
Is that possible? Because in the last election that was mooted, and what Kwaso said I cannot be.
But that was then. They have not tested themselves. What is the outcome? I won 6 states, including FCT. You won 1. So can you imagine somebody who won? I'm just thinking anyway, because Juan Kwaso would give him that handshake across the Niger, but he should be working. His team should be working on that.
So it seems like two men who cannot accept to be a deputy to the other.
There is always a chance for a new development. That is one. In politics,
if the persons involved are amenable.
That is it. In politics, it's a game of interest. It's a game of interest. And let me say this: don't be surprised. Obi could also, Atiku is courting him to be his vice presidential candidate, even when they keep denying it. But that's the plan. Coming to ADC, you will become the vice president in the immediately power finishes in the north. And just like we have analyzed here, if he does that, he's going to lose some followers and he could get some in the north. But if he's serious, Dati will not give you that handshake across the Niger. Dati Ahmed will not give you that. And then if somebody like Kwankwaso agrees to Obi's push, NMPP could change the whole thing. So as we speak now, APC is taking hold of Labour, taking hold of PDP, and some other political parties. So the only political party, there are some political parties that have not taken hold of. So Obi can exploit and explore those political parties. But for now, he has a political chess to play, and then he should be guided, properly guided.
Maybe it's high time he chose his struggle, because that was that 2 days ago where people were talking about him saying that some persons in the coalition are already going to different states to build structures, but for him, he's doing nothing for the ADC. Rather, today you see him with Labour Party, and tomorrow you see him with the ADC, and they're saying he should choose his struggle so that they know where he belongs. Now, we are going to go for this commercial break. From the break, we are going to go straight to take your calls at 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
AFM. We give you more than properties. We give you opportunities. From Nkwele to Umuya, Oka to Umweri, from Oba to Agleri, Mbako to Oji River, from Emene to Asaba, Aba to Abuja, Lagos to Imo. AFF is planning possibilities in over 20 states across Nigeria with free inspection. We are in alkaline table water, purity in every drop. We are in wine, the refreshment for your soul. Get 5% interest in just 3 months or grow it to 20% in 1 year. No story, just favor.
You register with Obelego. I get just one plot of land in
AFF Landport Global Estate Limited, where favor meets opportunity. Visit our physical office at number 5620 Ume Street, Awada, or call us now on 070-6567-6913. AFF Ujale Mogo.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Alright, so it's time for you to get involved in this very conversation we'll be having since 9:15 a.m. A lot has been said, and we're going to go to the phone lines now to take a call before we see if we can as well cover some other grounds we haven't covered. 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Good morning, my honorable speaker.
Good morning, your name?
Franklin and Chisom. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling this morning from Onitsha.
Okay, go on.
Let me bring my mind on the 2 issues this morning. First of all, congratulating our Super Falcons on the feat they achieved for us last weekend, and the president rewarding them. But for me, I think the reward is excessive considering our economic reality. There is nothing short when it comes to motivation. I had expected that our president will even consider our present economic reality, because this is the 10th title that has been won by Super Falcons. And when we ask the people that got this trophy up to this 9th time, because I can remember one Miss Chechina who won the AFCON more than twice. I went back to check what kind of reward, even when she was given an award of OON, National Honor. So that for us here, we are giving each of them 153 million naira. I think for me, if the president had given them 50 million naira each, I think it's a worthy motivation, because there are a lot of sectors in this economy that required enough motivation for them to function. In the health sector, even in the power sector, there are a lot of motivation needed in those sectors for them to function properly. But for our president, to go in this excessive manner to pour this money, I think it is excessive. If it is on other government, people also will criticize it. I want to say that up to 150 million per person, up to 24 of them is excessive. 50 million would have done, including the 3-bedroom apartment being awarded to them. So for me, it is excessive considering our economic reality.
Right.
Finally, on OB, everyone that loves OB, even obedient, wants OB to be on the ballot. There's no saying about it. Everyone wants to be on the ballot. And anybody expecting him to play in second fiddle like a vice president, presidential candidate, he say no. That will ruin his political career. And for him to be on the ballot, he requires a viable platform. And no viable platform that is more viable than this PDP, Labour, we can call it this. We may talk about.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
the-
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
shenanigans
Thank you. Thank you.
going on
Thank you.
in
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tony. Good morning, everybody in the house.
Good morning, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's me, Jose, calling from Mumbai.
Okay, go on, sir.
All the analysis people made this morning about P2B is nothing but truth. The truth is that Mr. P2B is looking for a commission that is going to be notified. It's not about party. No party could have been the best party for him to thrive. And due to the corruption in the country, they have fought Labour Party against P2B. But everything has not spoiled. The truth is that P2B and Ahmed that is the best candidate, the best candidate for this country. Any other person, I don't support it. And I will not support P2B to be a second person to any other person. If P2B should be the forerunner of every party at this time, because we need it. Every other person is not able to be ahead of P2B. Let them be the second. Like the condition with P2B and the Dati and the Wakoto is very good, very, very good. Can give him a longer head above his contemporaries. In the time, Dati and the Wakoto can be a good candidate for P2B. But the other person, you don't buy it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Hello. Okay, I'll try again. Don't forget that we are live on our Facebook page. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome on board.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much to the network. Thank you, my friends, Franklin, my lady, morning.
Good morning.
Chief Tony, good morning.
You're welcome, good
The
morning.
last thing you talked about, my brother, you were so on spot. It is meant for them on retirement after receiving all those humongous salaries. Now to the Super Falcons, that is something sober reflection for Nigerians. The young lady that spoke after Mr. President says that they have conquered Africa and they played with best hands all over the world. That all they are asking for is enabling environment. I'm happy the way you analyze the financial aspect of it, Tony. Very educative. Now we must remember that once upon a time the naira was higher than the dollar in open market. Now we shall conquer the world, it just says. They will, because why? Nigeria has one of the most enviable youth population in the world. Any part of the world you go to, you must see one Nigerian young man or woman playing football, or doing one sport or another. Then what have we done for them? Do we groom them? Now we all know that sporting is about the biggest arena in politics. After the kind of politics we do, are not that. And in world politics, all countries are grooming their young people to make sure that at least they can conquer the world in politics. We've not done that. We've not done that. These people give over 200 million people joy. Over 200 million people. And we know that this is our odium. It's only people that go, people that are criticizing the amount, they go there, one man buys a yacht for himself. They renovate a building for one woman, Mrs. President, for herself. They do vice president for himself. These people give it to all of us.
All right.
200 million people, young people, children, old people. We must try our best in our country to take responsibility and use this God-given gift of having the most highly populated youth, still with truthful exuberance, looking for adventure. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Africa.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Yeah, my name is George, calling from Asaba.
George, go on.
You see, let me do something here. We will say that this, our guests are lucky. How much is the watch that the president's son is putting on? When we are complaining that we gave the girl social amount of money. For me, those girls deserve it. They are lucky to see to win a trophy in a time that we have a president that has the mind of giving. And I love giving. I put it that way. So because at the same time, if the president decides to even give them 10,000 naira, where are the remaining money? Are you going to go to a bank to go and collect the remaining money? Wherever you brought the money from, as long as the money is money, that they will spend it. At least let them give you, let them enjoy. You understand me? Because no matter the way we look at it, if he decide I won't give them that money, nobody is going to beat him. And nobody is going to ask him any questions. I will not see in the way that the president is so wasteful in whatever too many things that they are doing. We will not see a valuable something that we do now. We are complaining that the money is too much. Too much for what? The money is not too much. If we need to give them 1 billion, now let me give them. Because actually they work what we are saying. What about those people that occupy some government office that are doing nothing, collecting past salary every month? Are we complaining about those things? Nigeria is not everything that will come out and be complaining on. I'm just telling you, not everything that will come out and complain on that, and the money that I did those guys is too much. This will happen, that will happen. This is that I won't do that. What is this going to happen? Good morning.
All right. Thank you for your opinion. So let's go to the second line and see who we have there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you, Franklin. Good morning.
Welcome.
Chisom, good morning. Mr. Speaker, Tony Mbeki, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Honorable Monte Johnson, and I'm calling in from Onitsha.
Go on.
Chisom, actually, I don't know what you meant by talking about rewarding someone, a member of the family, with a political office. I was expecting you actually to give us a little insight of what how the husband rather has performed within the short time he was in the office. Actually, God in his infinite wisdom do say in the Holy Word, I will visit your generation with, the generation with the righteousness of their father. And also, the generation with the, wickedness of their father. If the husband had performed when he was in office within the short time, I think if the people decide to ask the woman to continue, that should not be seen as rewarding her to office.
Can I answer that? Can I answer you now?
Okay.
Yeah. So the first time the poster came out, it was Sympathy, right? Am I mistaken, frankly? It was Sympathy 2025 or something of that nature. And so I want to ask you, reward is actually a mild word. If I actually said reward, where you put out a candidate for an ailing democracy with a firm sympathy. I don't know how else you want to see this. Like I said earlier, I have no problem with the persons involved. However, the presentation is beginning to make it look like a political office is a compensation for a misfortune I dare say could have even been avoided. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, I am in that woman political water page. what I see there is justice for justice.
This is the second one. If you listen carefully, I asked two questions. First, it was LP Sympathy 2025, and then we're having AGC. What exactly is happening? And that's why I asked the question: is this woman really willing to walk this path, or are some people come of it? We know this is a place where governments are hijacked by cabals. Hello, the presidency had such a thing. How much more? Let's not even argue about this. We are totally out of time.
It's all right. It's all right. Let me just round up my thoughts.
Okay. Quickly.
For me, I believe if the man had done well within the short time, they couldn't have done it without the support of that woman. Because behind every successful man, there is a woman. So I think Peter Speaker and all of you.
Are you still there?
Are you there?
Okay. Sorry, we lost that very call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Your name?
Badmos from Newi.
Go on, Mr. Badmos.
I want to come down to PDP. You know, one thing I don't like in the way P2P is playing his politics is this. These people, the first person has come out and said, we are winning you to PDP. You kept quiet. The second person has also come and said, you haven't said anything. And people will start seeing from that direction that maybe you are planning to join PDP. That is one problem I have with that guy. He is not strategic. In politics, you need to be strategic. Maybe these people are planning to ridicule him or something, because I don't see what P2B will get in PDP. Even if they give him the platform, he is not going to win, because most people in PDP are working for Tinubu. So when they make this statement, you should also put a counter statement. That's what all politics is all about. But you kept quiet. This is how I told P2B, I think last 2 years, to move out from Labour Party. Let him look for a party so that he can move with all these House of Rep members and Assembly members and governors into it. It was when P2B was P2B in politics. He still remember, he retained his property and his political ambition and everything and popularity is dying day by day. When I say that Igbos don't know how to play politics, some people will say that I am trying to. Let me tell you, if P2B continue this way, he may silently end up being unpopular, because the way I see it right now, the tool for P2B right now is for him to join ADC. If he joins ADC, let him become a vice to Atiku, because in Labour Party, there is no way except if he wants to work for Tinubu. If P2B want to work for Tinubu, let him join PDP and become their flag bearer.
All right.
I vote so that Tinubu will win. That's all.
All right. All right. Thank you. You know, say it's easy to start something and somebody closes, his eyes before he becomes a president. In PDP, Wike has established a precedence where you can be in PDP and be working for another party, and nobody's going to blink an eyelid. So we have Wike now in PDP working for APC. We have Fayoshe in PDP working for APC, and he's saying he's not going to leave the party, but he's going to work for APC. We have Adeleke. We have just Uno, even Uno before he defected. So perhaps
many
of them
the
president. So let's see what we have on our Facebook page.
All right, then it's at Udala Radio 104.7. Mal Lebara, she says $100,000 each, about 4.59 billion naira. And we claim we don't have money and still borrowing. They did well to win, but $100,000 and houses are damn too much for each. For a country that is struggling with battered economy, a country where doctors and nurses are threatening to go on strike, for a country its citizens are struggling to have a square meal in a day, for Nigeria. Bright Emmanuel says, kudos to you guys, Eke Gunners. He says, congratulations to our Super Falcons on their ex-mission accomplishment, and our president honored them with such a mountain houses. Then tomorrow we go a burrowing even with the hunger in Nigeria. Okbe SJP says former Ekiti governor and PDP chieftain Fayoshe caused hysteria after showing up at an All Progressives Congress APC rally in the state's capital while wearing a PDP cap. Nigeria politics becomes a toy overnight. Udoka Mashedrak, he says, giving the reward of 153 million is way too much because many of our different agencies like security and education need more attention than the waste code reward. 50 million each should have been moderately accepted. Pensions and gratuities of people who served for more than 35 to 40 years are given peanuts. That's too extravagant and wasteful of Bola Tinubu and his friends in government. They should be mindful of how recklessly they handle public offices, okay? FUO says, enlighten me on this ADC coalition thing. I thought PDP, amongst other political parties, was absorbed to form the ADC. FUO, Tony is going to clarify that. We've actually made that clarification over and over on this platform, especially when the whole ADC was announced. Congratulations to our Super Falcons. Indeed, they made us proud. I'm not seeing any reason why that we make Obi go back to the PDP, okay? Wike is waiting for him there. Instead of that, he should go back to Labour Party. Ekene Bliss Okonkwo, Obi should know what he wants in Nigeria politics. Labour Party and PDP is a no-go area for him now. Thank you. Henry Elu, he says, it's a good and patriotic thing to appreciate those that have one way or the other made Nigeria proud. But the amount is outrageous in the country where over 60% go to bed without food. Wherever P2B goes, we'll go. That's what he says. Henry, and you know what I mean. And comedian boy, he says, P2B going back to PDP will not be a good one for him because most PDP members today are secretly working for the APC. So the mistake he will make is by going back to PDP. They will betray him at the end of the day. Wike still has a very big influence and control in the PDP. I'd advise him to do proper consultation before making any move.
Okay, still on that Facebook page, Bridget Ejikomo Ijoma Happiness Ifeanyi Onyekwere, thank you for following. Then Chinedu Mora says if Obi is a potential candidate for the presidency with his fan base, he should stand head on to APC with PDP. It might seem impossible to infiltrate sitting APC, but with fan base he can prove his worth and ability. No other political party gives him this opportunity. And Ogo Chukunenye, okay, watching from Sokoto Road on it. Thank you for watching. And the Mazizubi Madeke says, okay, agitation for Yakubu successor swells. Nigeria should enact a law prohibiting the president's appointment for an INEC chairman, thereby giving the country's political umpire total freedom for efficiency. He posted from Arop Boreni in Abia State. Ijoma Happiness says, anyway, what our president did for our Falcons is good and nice thing, but I hope that it won't be an empty promises as usual. Okay, he texted, or rather he posted from Uruwagunewi, and she raised a valid concern because this is not the very first time we have seen promises made and not delivered. If it took several years for us to deliver the one made in 1994, we hope that this one is going to be different. And we are tough time, and we have to cap out today's conversation. It
has been a very long time here, and then just like we have all agreed, one thing is, if those who are close to P2B should tell him that his work should be in the north. He has no work to do in the south. The work should be in the north. He should galvanize them, get in touch with them, start making political alliances with the north. That's just that.
Just hold on, Tony. Let's quickly attend to this, then we just sign off.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Hello, Philip.
Guy, how far now? It's 11:45. Waiting shop.
I beg, no vex. My landlord locked me for outside, though.
Again?
No vex. I beg, have you come sleep for your side this night?
Omo, my babe, they around, though. But nothing do you. Try call celebrity landlady.
Guy, serious now. Celebrity kini.
Celebrity landlady. See, with celebrity landlady, you fit turn landlord with just 100k every week.
Nah, lie.
I go lie for you.
Not true. You can own your dreamland with just 100k weekly. Yes, with Celebrity Landlady Save to Buy plan, that property where you dream of fit be your own just like that oh. A Save to Buy plan allows you to pay for your dream land instrumentally, easy, flexible and all yours. A Save to Buy plan is convenient and safe. Start now and become a proud property owner in top locations like Otulu Asaba, behind Ogwashuku Polytechnic, Admiralty Drive Ibusa and Isela Asaba. For more information, call us now on 0701 018 8042 or 0903 844 9351. Celebrity Landlady, turning you into a proud homeowner.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so we are wrapping up this very conversation and we have to sign off. But before then, Chisom, take a few seconds before Tony caps it.
Well, I think I have already said what I need to say. Like I said earlier, once women are concerned, rest assured that Chisom Chinedu will clap. Not from the sidewalk, please. I will enter the field and clap for them. However, I do not want a woman being used as an instrument to serve certain selfish interests. Not one who is mourning and not one who has children to also cater for.
Okay, so Tony, we are leaving.
I was actually asking or saying or even implying that Obi has more work to do in the north, a region that has close to 50 million registered voters, and it tells a lot. We need to see you building these bridges across the north, seeing some northern elements backing you, supporting you, believing in you, and ensuring that they have or retain this trust in you. But that's by the way. And then for those who say that what the president splash on Super Falcons is too much, somebody asks, now you go get the change. Now you go get the change. You go see the change. This is a country where there is no accountability, transparency, and probity. And then the public office holders, do you know how much they spend? Do you know how much they collect when you don't see anything they do? So, my dear, when you don't go see the change, why you gonna talk?
Okay, so on that very note, we thank every one of you for listening. Tomorrow we're going to return for a fresh edition. My name is Franklin and Ebuka. Thank you for listening. Good morning.
To be there by the things that you keep. When you have a steady coming, your name gonna touch you. Anything you do, you go tell Ellie. They go call you, walk come out. When you there, so you go there all alone. When you succeed, they go call you their own. Now because you don't wait for the throne, then they call you walk home. Never tell you come here, you belong. When you there, so you go there all alone. When you succeed, they go call you your own. Now we get because you don't wait for the throne, now we call you walk home. See now they're treating me different. Oh, I know they're treating me different. And they're showing me love, taking me places, telling everybody so we be friends. Now the rappers steady come. My name that they touching it. Anything I do, it's already. They didn't call me walk come out. I be walk come out. When you have to go there all alone. When you succeed, they go call you their own. Now because you don't there for the throne, they go call you walk come out. And now the thing where
from the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region. Where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic. Udala Radio 104.7 FM.